Hey everybody, I want to make this video about Rivian, and the reason why I want to do this is because I saw that Rivian wanted to have a market cap of $80 billion, okay? And this would make Rivian the sixth most valuable car maker on the planet. That's amazing, okay? Well, do they deserve that much? We don't know. So let's just take a look at the specs. And I do want to say, I'm a little baffled by the American electric vehicle companies. I'm a Tesla investor, I'm a NIO investor, I'm an XPeng investor, I'm a BYDD investor. I invest in a lot of electric vehicle companies and the infrastructure along with it. So I do follow these things, and I haven't really found any electric vehicle company besides Tesla in America. But is Tesla really an American company? I don't know. It's backed by China, so maybe it's Tesla America backed by China. But yeah, so I haven't found too many American electric vehicle companies that found my interest. That's why I invest in companies like Honda and Nissan, for example, as well, um, rather than more traditional U.S. automakers or emerging electric vehicle companies, because I just think they're just pumps and dumps. And I do think that a lot of the Eve bubble has popped in a sense, and when the dust settles, we're gonna find out which electric vehicle companies are the best. But it just baffles me that American companies, again, like Lucid Air, I think it has a market cap of over $40 billion, which is just unreasonable. They haven't delivered one vehicle yet. And then we have, a company like Tesla with this ridiculous market cap. But you know what? I'm an early investor, so I don't really care. If people want to bubble that up, whatever. I actually do think that electric vehicles in China, Chinese electric vehicle companies are in China are overvalued, or at least less overvalued than their U.S. counterparts, and that if we're gonna, if assets are gonna be overvalued, well, companies like NIO and Xiaopeng, XPeng, and BYDD, these companies should be trading at way higher prices. If we want to go if we want to acknowledge that all these companies are overvalued, that they deserve to be more overvalued, in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, this is the reason why I was interested in Rivian, is because yeah, they want to achieve an $80 billion market cap. And what validity do they have? Okay, so I'm a conventional truck user. Okay, I have a Jeep. My family's used trucks. We go for we go off-roading, we go camping. We use it for hauling things around the coffee farm, things like that. So we actually do use a truck very conventionally. And let's see. So why would anybody want a Rivian? Okay, a conventional truck driver. Why? Because when you look at regular pickup trucks, the range is large. The range is very large. Okay, but when it comes to Rivian, what is the Rivian range? Okay, so far, just looking at this, the range is going to be around 314 miles as of now. This is what they're saying, right? 300 for the R1T. It's going to be 314 miles of range, with the starting price of $67,000. And okay, well, that's interesting. Does it? I mean, that kind of sucks because it looks nice. I mean, yeah, I love the design. It looks great. It it doesn't. I like the Ford design better, in my opinion. But you know, um, it's not bad either. Maybe it's just the color. I don't know. Okay, well, it looks okay. It doesn't look that great. It looks okay. So the design is okay. It's just a cash grab. Who knows? It can go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Okay, that's not impressive. And for an electric vehicle, right? Because the motor is different. Does that really matter? Not really. I mean, that's cool. Towing capacity is up to 11,000 pounds. Okay. Quad motor powertrain, and wadding depth is 3 feet. So as we see here, the Rivian looks pretty cool, right? It has basic features of a modern day vehicle. The interior looks pretty cool, right? I like it. I think the interior looks really nice for a truck. It looks almost as good as my Jeep. Okay, right. I don't know. I mean, the luxury truck that my father has looks way better than this, so I don't know. Okay, so it has basic things like LTE, Wi-Fi, but you know what? That doesn't really matter to me because that's not what I want to talk about. What we really need to talk about is the range. The range is 314 miles, okay? That's only if the vehicle doesn't actually have any, I believe from what I've seen, I believe that's only if there's nothing on the vehicle, right? I'm assuming that the 314 miles of range, yeah, okay, with an EPA estimated range of 314 miles, I'm pretty sure that's only when all the right conditions are met, okay? It achieves 314 miles of range. So if you load, like, you know, if you're a farmer, for example, if you load stuff, or if you're going camping, you load all this heavy gear, you're a farmer, you load all your all these produce, or if you're transferring things over from point A to point B, you know, you work in trade and you're carrying all this lumber or your tools, or you're a conventional truck user and you like storing your tools in compartments. Does this thing have compartments like a regular Ford? I don't think so. Is it customizable? Well, maybe. It looks like it kind of is, right? But you know, that's not the point. Like, if you want to do all these kind of activities outdoors, camping, biking, things that, you know, conventional truck users oftentimes do, well, just to get from point A to point B is going to take way more than 300 miles, right? In most cases, it's going to take longer than 314 miles. And you know what? What if you're going down, uphill, downhill? What if the slope is bad? What if the terrain is bad? What if you have like what if you have 5 people on there in that truck, and then you have all your camping gear that's going to last you like a week? You know, then what? You know, what are you going to do then? Is it still going to be 314 miles? Maybe it might be 280, okay? And so I know Rivian does offer some sort of supercharging, right? They offer their own special charging, but it doesn't even charge it to 100%. It charges it to like 90 or 80% or something like that. So that's a little concerning, right? Because let's just pretend, you know, you're using this as a conventional truck driver, and you know, instead of 314 miles, but you know what, let's just round it and say 300 miles. If you get 300 miles on a Rivian and you're using it as a conventional truck driver, how much more miles, how much more does the range decrease from 314 when all the right conditions are met from there? And then, you know, you have to stop if you're going up and down a hill, right? Because you're hauling things from point A to point B. You know, you have to stop at a supercharging port each and every time where you cannot fully charge it to 100%. And it takes like what, 30-45 minutes, you know, for this Rivian supercharging, 20 to 40 minutes, you know, or an hour or something. How is that practical for the average truck user? It's not. It's just not. If they had Neo's battery swap services, then the Rivian actually would be more practical. The reason is because, you know, if we had Neo swap stations in America, and you know what, the Rivian still isn't practical for truck users, but even if we did, it would help just a little bit. Because if you're going from point A to point B and you're a tradesman, at least you can stop at a Neo swap station, swap it out in 3 minutes, and then go back to work or wherever you're going. One part of town to the other, point A to point B. But with the Rivian, you have to stop your work for at least, I don't know, 30 to an hour, get that thing charged, not even fully charged, and then go back on your way. So it's just such a hassle to use a Rivian for any kind of conventional truck user. So I do think that Rivian will sell. I think that, you know, if people like trucks, you know, they'll make it work somehow. But for the average, regular, conventional truck driver or truck user, you know, they're not going to be convinced when the ICE vehicles are giving them over 600 miles of range, okay? This is for a lot of conventional truck users. They're using it for their businesses. They're using it because they like going outdoors. They're using it to go on these long range adventures and excursions. So it doesn't make sense to have a pickup truck, electric vehicle pickup truck with less than 314 miles of range, okay? And even if it did have 314 miles of range, that's not enough. It's just not enough. The Rivian is putting too much burden onto the consumer. And I don't know if Rivian realizes that, but they should look into this, because unless they have implement some kind of battery swap technology where the battery can be swapped out and replenished faster, it's just you're putting too much burden on the customer at such a high price. But then that's not even the biggest issue, because in 5 years from now, or let's just say 1, 2, 5, 10 years from now, every year the battery technology is going to increase tremendously, right? So maybe in 2022 or 2023, whenever Rivian decides to release their the Rivian, or even in 2021, people who buy the Rivian now are stuck with this model that only provides 314 miles of range, which kind of sucks. And then in 5 years from now, or 1 year from now, when solid state batteries are more improved and worked upon, or in 2 years from now, Rivian will, maybe the newer Rivians will come out with a battery that gives 400, 500, 600 miles of range. So everybody else is stuck with these Rivians with 300 miles of range. So that sucks for them too. So at this point, in my opinion, Rivian is just better off holding out till then, until they can release a better battery or a vehicle with better range. But let's see. Range. From the hottest places to the coldest, from 130 Fahrenheit to 225, our battery system was built to explore, delivering an EPA estimated 314 miles of range paired with 21-inch wheels. Blah, blah, blah. In January 2022, an R1T with a 400 plus mile range will be available, and we'll announce the timing of the R1T with 250 miles of range. Okay, that sucks. 250 miles of range for a pickup truck at price that high sucks. It's just not worth it for the consumer. No conventional truck user is going to buy it. No one with a brain who uses it practically will buy it. Maybe with the 400 miles of range plus, maybe, but the conventional truck user is still going to be turned off by it. So yeah, I just want to bring that up. I think it's pretty ridiculous, and maybe over time I do think that electric trucks will be a great thing. But even if it wasn't for the battery degradation and the low range that the current models have to offer in general, electric vehicle customers now, besides a Neo or any other company or any other electric vehicle that can swap batteries out, are stuck with the current batteries that the current vehicles have to offer. So if the standard range is 150 miles or 300 or even 500, which is not the average, but let's just be generous and say that the average range for electric vehicle is 300 miles. Okay, if the average range is 350 miles for an electric vehicle, well, in 1, 3, 5, 10 years from now, the battery technology is going to increase tremendously, right? We're working on solid state batteries right now where the range is tremendously better. And even if we only have a partial solid state battery coming out more sooner, that's still going to give us a tremendous amount of range. And then what happens when we refine solid state battery technology? Every other user is going to be stuck with these batteries that kind of suck and the range sucks. But everybody else in 3 years from now, or even a year from now, will have these vehicles that almost double the current standard of range. And you cannot swap the battery out easily. It costs a lot. It may not even be worth it for the consumer. But Neo understands that this is going to be an issue. Retention value is going to be an issue. Battery degradation is going to be an issue. new battery technology is going to be constantly coming out. So it makes it doesn't make sense that none of the electric vehicles can swap the battery out. And I think that these companies need to focus more on battery swap technology, especially a company like Rivian that offers terrible range for and is trying to pitch itself to the conventional truck user. Unless it's not. Unless Rivian isn't trying to pitch itself to the conventional truck user. But, this goes for any company like Ford. If they're going to introduce the electric truck, well, they really need to either implement battery swap technology or increase the battery swap, or they're going to have to increase the range and mileage on those batteries, or no conventional truck user is going to switch from ICE to electric vehicle. But you know what? Whatever. I mean, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know. I'm just some ignorant guy looking at this. So, yeah.